at Commander Replay, we check out this weird game with Obosh the Preypiercer. Can we draw our way out of this absolute mana flood? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link if you're buying Ikoria and Commander 2020 cards, as it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. And finally, if you want to sign up to play paper webcam games with me for the cost of $10, please check the Eventbrite link in the description below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Obosh The Preypiercer today, and today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Hammerbangers, who's in the game with us. This is a tricky opening hand. 5 lands, Mana Crypt, Bloodchief Ascension. There's a chance that we don't do anything, but if I mulligan, then we'll probably just mulligan into a hand with no lands, so I think I risk this. It's not my favorite hand ever. Hopefully we get to draw a card somewhere along the way, but if we don't, we may get stuck and do nothing. That's the thing that could happen. So looking at Obosh, it's 5 mana 3/5. It has Companion, but it says your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and lands. I played Gyruda earlier today, and that's a pretty significant drawback, especially in that deck because of the mill. All the mill stuff is oddly costed, and Gyruda wants even cost stuff only. I'm not sure that this one will be as restrictive, but I'm still finding that it's a pretty meaningful thing to have to build around that. So the deck's creator chose not to do that today. But the main ability is, if a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Yeah. We draw a land off the top. Not the thing we wanted to see. I guess just play it. Reveal a mountain. Play the Bloodchief Ascension. Opponents don't need to know about our Mana Crypt yet. I feel like the Mana Crypt will change the perception of how things go. So cast the Bloodchief Ascension and we'll pass like that. They will perceive us to be more threatening if we lay down Mana Crypt right now. And also, there's a flip in there. We don't have anything to do with it yet, so, why risk a flip? Mox Opal for opponent. Mox Diamond. Oh, that's a pretty good start. You can put themselves on the chopping block with all the fast mana, we would assume. Talisman for opponent. There's a Portent for opponent, yeah. I would take something like that right now. I would love to not draw lands over the next few turns. Opponent gets to draw a card at the upkeep. Skull Clamp for the Queen Marchesa. Oh, that's another land. Yeah, that's not what we wanted to see. Play this Swamp. Pass the turn. All the lands clumped together. Inventor's Fair for opponent. Iron Mirror. They now have Metalcraft. Steel Overseer. Interesting. Opponent's going to crack the Myriad Landscape in their main phase, sure. Plays a Sleight of Hand. Look at the top 2 cards of the library, put one into the hand, the other on the bottom. And here comes Hainware Garrison into play. Would love to start getting some counters on this Bloodchief Ascension. This thing's super nasty once it's active. We draw another land. There it is. Yep, this is our worst fears coming true. Play the Badlands. Play the Mana Crypt. Cast our commander. Ha! Springjack Pasture for opponent. Fun card. I would take that because we have literal nothing to do. We need to draw some cards. Hope there's card draw in this deck. Opponent makes a goat. We have Waste Not. Dark Deal. Yeah, we take a Dark Deal. Geth's Grimoire. Wheel of Fortune. Siphon Mind. Okay. There are ways to draw cards in this deck. We just need to run into them. So far, I'm not liking our chances. Opponent's going to swing over to the Jori with a Iron Mirror. That should put a counter on our Bloodchief Ascension. It needs 3 or more counters on it to be active, so this should get us the first. And there's the first counter. Jori coming into play. Opponent's going to Jataxian Probe us. Ha! They're in for a world of surprise. Did opponent use the free mode on Jataxian? I think they did. That'll trigger the Bloodchief Ascension. Here comes an Ironcrag Pyromancer. When you draw your second card, each turn deals 3 damage to any target. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yep, there's a counter on the Bloodchief. 1 more to go. 1 more to go. Ooh, opponent passed their attack? Saying it's not worth it. Oh, man. They got tokens, too, that they could have fed to the Skull Clamp. Tough choice for them right there. Really not wanting to make this active. Let's go heads. We won the flip. That's a Wheel of Torture. Let's see what this does. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, it deals X damage to that player where X is 3 minus the number of cards in their hand. I always get confused with the way these are worded, but it seems like it's where we want to be. Whatever the number of cards in their hand is, minus 3, right? So they're above 3. That means they'll take damage. Okay. Let's play this Dragon Skull Summit. Play the Wheel of Torture. I don't think it's worth attacking anywhere. This is actually a really good blocker right now. It actually doubles its own damage. That's kind of cool. So it'll hit for 6. Kind of has that Aurelia thing going on where, you know, it's only got 3 power, but when you double it, it's pretty good. Maybe that's what you do with this deck. You put a bunch of equipments on it. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't be awful, though, if you slam, like, Luxodon Warhammer on it. That'd be a pretty cool one. But I get it. That's not how you're supposed to build a Rakdos deck. I joke with my Patreons in Discord chat that they ask me how to build a commander. I'm like, you put Feast and Famine on it, and you put Blackblade Reforged on it. That's how you build every commander. Wheel of Torture will trigger. Inventor's Fair will trigger. Opponent brought the Steam Vents in, tapped. Not paying the life. Apparently everyone's lost to a Bloodchief Ascension at some point. So nasty once it gets going. Brudiclad into play. Yep, that's pretty good. Makes a token. Let's take a look at what our opponents are playing, by the way. First up, we have Frodo the Chef piloting Brudiclad Telcor Engineer. Brudiclad always gets a little wonky. You make him your token, and then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token, so... cares about making crazy token stuff. Opponent's going to attack our way. Don't love it. Don't love it. We'll block one. Oh, opponent's going to pump with the Steel Overseer. Almost missed it. Almost missed it. Still going to get us for 3. It's not great. Down to 37. We eat a token. Did opponent lose life on something? We're active. Oh, maybe they paid. Maybe they... Oh, it was the damage to the wheel. Okay. I misunderstood the wheel then. So if you're below 3... Yeah, okay, so it's below 3. Oh, I don't know why that's so confusing. I feel like the wording on these could be so much better. Mystic Sanctuary for opponent. Gonna get back the Gitaxian Probe. Sure. It's probably not gonna be us. Opponent's gonna Pongify our commander. Really? That's where they go with it? I mean, I guess Bloodchief Ascension does double damage, so maybe. Maybe that makes sense. Opponent's gonna get them. We'll gain some life back. That's kind of cool. Say always yes. And yield that ability. Opponent loses 2, we gain 2. Oh, that's Amizium Mortars. Did they overload it? They overloaded it, didn't they? Oh, that's going to do some damage. And, ooh, the Iron Crag is going to trigger. Bloodchief Ascension will trigger 4 times. Okay, Obosh does not trigger the Bloodchief Ascension. This is life loss versus damage. Opponent going to attack our way. Yeah, we're at 47 now. Suppose we deserve that. Down to 45 we go. 2, Commander. Another counter on the Bloodchief Ascension. GVR says he's playing a Spellslinger deck, so Ascension will end him. Alright, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Opponent cracks a fetch. Trigger that Bloodchief Ascension. Oh, so good when it's active. So, so good. Thalia. What's up? That'll be very good against Jori N, probably. Seem to be playing a lot of cheap cantrips. Cheap cantrips get way worse when you've got to pay extra mana for them. Did I finish your opponents? Hammerbanger's in the game with us, by the way, playing Queen Marchesa. Looks like they're kind of doing, you know, some sort of like Mardu go wide sort of thing. Looks like some tokens, looks like some attacking. We got a hate bear in there. Yeah, all seems legit. Add a counter at the end step. Brings it back to our turn. Mana crypt time. Tails. Lost the flip. 44. Mind crank. All right, here we go. Play Luxury Suite. Cast our commander. Is that going to be, is that everything? Our commander gives us a blocker. Yeah, so let's get our commander in. That way we don't get harassed by things on board. Also double up the damage from this Wheel of Torture. Opponent's going to get hit by the wheel once again. Loses 2 more. Wait. Oh, does that go infinite? That goes infinite. Crap. That wins the game, doesn't it? Whoops. I forgot about that. We'll have to do that again. We'll have to do that next turn. Because they lose life. So a card goes into their graveyard from anywhere. Then we hit them for 2 life, and then it says whenever they lose life, put card into the grave. Yeah, that's infinite. Okay. I think it'll need to trigger for each opponent, though. So, like, we need to get each opponent to put a card into the graveyard. Okay, I see what's going on here. Opponent's going to crack their Inventor's Fair. Gets hit by the Bloodchief Ascension. Opponent goes for a Planar Portal. Sure. Phyrexian Altar for opponent. Sure. Another counter on the Bloodchief. As they pass the turn. Wheel of Torture. Opponent is in the safe zone. 6 cards. Do need them to tap outright here. And not mess with our stuff. That would be the most ideal. That's a Locust God. Okie dokie. Opponent plays a Scry Temple. Sure. Opponent's really freaking out about the Bloodchief Ascension. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. It's so good, especially against the Spellslinger deck. Well, opponent's going to take another look at us with the Git Probe. Ironcrag Pyromancer, a Locust God will trigger. Opponent sees my hand. He's got a bunch of asterisks in this message for us. Opponent gonna swing our way. That's fair. I didn't see what happened to Thalia. Oh, Thalia got shot with the Ironcrag Pyromancer. Okay. Things are looking good. Things are looking very good. Mana Crypt flip on us. Oh, opponent's got all their mana up. Well, we're gonna have to try it. I mean, you know, that's what you do, right? Hope opponent doesn't have removal. I don't know why they didn't play Marchesa, though. That's a Zozu. Maybe we bait with Zozu first? I don't know. It's not going to be a counter spell. Let's just try it. Mind Crank? Opponent says GG. I think this does something. Swing into GVR. Entrapment Maneuver. Oh, no. Well, down it goes. That might keep them from dying. They can't play a land, so we'll have to drop Zozu in. Sacrifice our commander. That makes me sad. Opponent will die to the Entrapment Maneuver resolution, though. Yeah, opponent can't play any spells. They can't use the Locust God ability. I think opponent forgot that when they cast the spell, it does take them out. This is their deck, so blame them. And the game is freaking out. I probably shouldn't have autoed these triggers. I've had problems with stuff like this in the past where it may not recognize when the player leaves and things still keep triggering. That happened with the Stuffy Doll Guilty Conscience combo once. So I hope that this works properly and doesn't crash the game. Nope, I was wrong. Well, Hammer and Frodo were definitely going to die. It was a matter of whether GVR could really do much, but the question is, can they kill us with only creatures before we find something that changed their life total? You know, it's possible, but unlikely. You know, if we drew pretty much anything that's anything, I guess actually, you know, if we even just to get our commander back and attack with it, they would have to block. It doesn't matter if they take the damage or they block, they would still lose, so they need to answer the pieces. So, well, there the game goes. So this deck brought to you by Hammerbangers and a relatively new Patreon supporter. Having a little bit of fun with Black Red Punisher and Obosh. And apparently there's some nasty things you can do with some odd-costed hate pieces. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.